our African American read-in. So welcome to our fifth African American read-in at Dover Elementary School. Today we have someone very special from our community here in San Pablo. She's from the police department in the city of San Pablo. And this person is extra special, and we have a connection with her here at Dover because she's actually helped us every single year from year one. So this is actually her fifth year reading for us. So Katrina Jones, I'll give her an opportunity to introduce herself. Welcome our third and fourth grade students. We are so excited to have you here. We won't be able to see you, but you can see us, and that's great, but we can totally feel your energy. So give me some snaps if you are in third grade. Let me see your snaps. Okay. I heard that fourth graders could snap a little louder. Let's see if that's true. Okay, let's see. Give me some snaps, fourth graders. Okay, just to make it fair, because third graders did not know that this was going to be a competition, right? Let's give third graders a second try. Let's hear those snaps, third graders. Okay, so those snaps are to welcome our guest reader today, Miss Katrina Jones. So take it away.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so excited about this opportunity. And yes, this is my fifth year. I love this part of my job and outreaching to the community. I always say COVID can't stop us. We figured out ways to make it work and to reach out to all you kids. So I'll just take a little bit of your time to read this very special book. I'm a mother myself. I've always enjoyed reading to my children. I'm showing my support for Black History Month, and we all have a lot to learn, and we all have a lot to do. I represent the San Pablo Police Department, so I also am responsible for making sure that you guys are safe and give you guys every resource that you have out there. So today I am going to be reading a book called Soulway, and I'll tell you a little bit my own personal reflection about this book, very simple reflection about this book when I'm done reading it. So here we go. Soulway was born the color of midnight. She looked nothing like her family, not even a little, not even at all. Mama was the color of dawn, Baba the color of dusk, and Micah, her sister, was born the color of high noon. Hardly anyone at school looked like Solway either. People gave her sister Micah pet names like Sunshine and Ray and Beauty. But people gave Solway names like Blackie and Darky and Night. Solway felt hurt every time, so she hid away while her sister made lots of friends. Solway dreamed of being the same color as her sister. She wanted real friends too. So she got the biggest eraser she could find and she tried to rub off the layer or two of her darkness that hurt. She crept into Mama's room and she helped herself to makeup. Oh no, she would hear about this from Mama. Solway decided to work from the inside out and ate only the lightest, brightest foods.
Sorry to interrupt, Miss Jones. Would you mind showing us the pictures as well?
Okay, I was
Thank
trying to
you.
figure out how to do that, but then I won't be able to read the book. I thought about how can I do that because my camera's here.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, so maybe just after, that would be great. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. Nope. After each page, I'll show the book. Okay. I mean, show the page. With a stomach ache, she went to bed early and turned to God for a miracle. Dear Lord, why do I look like midnight when my mother looks like dawn? Please make me as fair as the parents I'm from. I want to be beautiful, not just to pretend. I want to have daylight. I want to have friends. If you hear me, Lord, and I like to comply, may I wake up as bright as the sun in the sky. Amen. When Mama came in to wake her for school the next morning, Solway rose to find not a trace of daylight in her midnight skin. So if you can see, she woke up. She's still the same color. Mama asked, "What is your name?" "Solway," she muttered. "And what does it mean?" "Star," Solway whispered. Brightness is not in your skin, my love. Brightness is just who you are. As for beauty, Mama said, rubbing Solway's stomach the way she always did to comfort her, you are beautiful. Solway sighed. Well, you are beautiful to me, but you can't rely on what you look like to make you feel beautiful, my sweet. Real beauty comes from your mind and your heart. It begins with how you see yourself, not how others see you. Now up and get up and out you go. How could she, as dark as she was, have brightness in her? How could she have beauty when no one but her mother seemed to see it? How could she be a star? That night, a shooting star appeared at Solway's window. The night sent me the star said, "Come with me." Solway hopped onto the star and off they went. Long ago, at the beginning of time, said the star, there was night and day, and they were sisters. They loved each other very much, but people didn't treat the sisters the same. People gave Day pet names like lovely and nice and pretty. People gave Night names like scary and bad and ugly. She felt hurt every time. Well, Night got fed up and walked right off the earth. Day stayed behind and enjoyed making everybody happy in the sun. But the day then but then Day grew too long. Day began to really miss her sister. So did everybody else. Oops, forgot to show you guys that page. There had to be a way to get her back. Day set off to find Night, and she did. "I miss you," said Day. "I miss you too," said Night. "But you don't know what it's like to be treated badly for being dark." "You're right, I don't," Day replied. "But what I do know is that we need you just the way you are. Come and see." Night returned, and the people rejoiced. "We need the darkest night to get the deepest rest. We need you so that we can grow and dream and keep our secrets to ourselves." The stars chimed in. Brightness isn't just for daylight. Light comes in all colors, and some light can only be seen in the dark. While day had a golden glow, with night, everything had a silver sheen, elegant and fine. told her sister, when you are darkest is when you are most beautiful. It's when you are most you. Could it be that night did not need to change? Not even a little, not even at all. Now that night and day were back together, a little bit of night returned to day in the form of shadows, and a little bit of day returned to night in the form of moonlight. They were inseparable from that moment and promised to celebrate the brightness in each other, whether people chose to see it or not. You see, the star explained, we need them both on their sunniest day and their darkest night, and every shade in between. Together, we make the world we know light and dark, strong and beautiful. Solway rose the next morning beaming. There would be no hiding anymore. She belonged out in the world, dark and beautiful, bright and strong. And if she ever needed a reminder of her brightness, she could look up at the sky on the darkest night to see for herself. Solway felt beautiful inside and out. The end. I hope
Yeah.
you guys enjoyed the book. Um, for those of you, and many of you have probably seen the movie Black Panther, um, this story in this book was written by one of the actresses, the Black Panther's girlfriend. And she wrote this because this book is partly about her. And a lot of people don't know that. So, my personal thing that I want to share with you is I'm from a biracial family. And I always wondered why we all had different colors and shades of skin. But at the end of the day, like she said in the book, God creates us in all different forms and shapes and shades, and we are beautiful just the way we are. And don't ever let anyone else tell you different, no matter what your skin color is.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jones. Absolutely. We're all beautiful in our own different ways and all the different shades and tones that we come in. So every year we have a different theme, right? This year's theme is around family. The book was around sisterhood, but also motherhood as well, right? So we can open this up for students. Perhaps we can do one question per classroom. We have a few minutes, about 15 minutes or so, if that's okay, Ms. Jones. Whether it's related to her career in the police department or anything that you may want to ask Ms. Jones that's appropriate. We'll give a moment of quietness because the feedback was that when we're speaking, teachers can't really hear their students asking questions. So we'll give about a minute or so of silence so that way teachers can get the question from your students. And then if whoever's ready, you can raise your hand and we can ask questions.
Also, I asked my students if they had questions or comments, they can send it to the chat to me, and then I can just post them to you guys.
Yes, that's a great suggestion as well. You feel free to type them in. So, Ms. Jones, we have one question from Ms. Mileto's class. The question is, what two countries does your family come from?
Um, in Africa, Guyana.
Go ahead.
Ms. Reynolds has a question. Ms. Reynolds' class, go ahead.
Go ahead, Louise.
I don't think that we can hear. I don't think we can hear Luis, Ms. Reynolds. He'll have to tell you, and then you'll have to
Okay.
let us.
Okay, Louise.
I think she typed it in. So, Ms. Reynolds said, "How do you feel when you read the book?" That's a question from Luis in Ms. Reynolds' class.
I feel as a mother, and we talked about this as being a family and about motherhood. I have daughters. I have two daughters, and it empowers me to teach. It gave me something to continue to pour into my daughters. So wherever they are in their life, they know they're beautiful. And my daughters are two different, similar to the book. I have one that's lighter than the other, and one's a little bit more fair skinned. So I am going to take what I read in this book today, and I'm going to share it with my beautiful daughters.
Great. We have a question from Ms. Weatherford's class. What is the most fun part of your job?
You guys, I love the community. I tell people that yes, this is a job. It's how I take care of my family and myself. But at the end of the day, I tell people I'm on a divine assignment. God assigned me here to help and be inspiration to people like yourselves. And so I love dealing with the community, young and old. I deal with the kids in the school, and I also deal with the seniors and different businesses. So I love dealing with people in the community because I am a people person.
Ms. Mileto's Kim from Ms. Mileto's class asked, "Is it hard to work for the police department?"
Yes, actually during these times, it's very difficult. I don't um, I don't sugarcoat it, powder coat it about being an essential worker because we're out there. And like today, I'm reading to you guys, but I will change up gears and I'll go out in the community and we serve and we try to help the homeless. We try to help people who are, have different struggles and issues to make sure people are safe, dealing with different people in the community. And so right now I'm fine, but every time I go out there, I deal with people. I can potentially be exposed to COVID. So it's not easy. From day to day, it changes. But every day I am very concerned, which is why I wear my mask everywhere I go, because if nothing else, I have to protect myself so that I can protect my family when I go home.
That's right. We have a comment from Ms. Lopez's class. My student said that this story was awesome, beautiful, and mega, mega awesome.
Woohoo!
Question from Ms. Forrest's class. The students ask, "What's the hardest part of your job, and what do you do at your job?"
So I'm a community outreach liaison. And so all the people in cities and in communities rely on the police department to keep them safe. They rely on the city for resources. It's part of their everyday livelihood. So, what I would say about my job, and one of the things I do is like I'm doing today, I'm letting you guys know that we at the police department and the city of San Pablo Police Department exclusively. We support you in the community. We may not get to see you right now, but we know you're there, and we want you guys to know we're there for you too, which is why we still participate when it comes to you guys, because your education is important. You guys learning to read and hearing other stories is important. Us being involved with all the things that are going on in the world, we want to show we serve everybody in the community, and that's what I'm doing.
Great. We have a question from Ms. Weatherford. I believe this one was already answered. Another question was, is it scary to be a police officer during COVID?
Yes, and yet it is scary to be any type of essential worker right now as we try to get our country up to speed with getting people vaccinated, and then hopefully one day we will get to the point where we can get our schools. The whole goal for me is that we get our schools open, not just as a parent, but as a community member. My husband also works for the school district. He works for Contra Costa School District, to be exact, and we support the schools. And so we have got to get to a point where we are able to get our kids back to school. We all got to be on the same page.
Right.
But safely, we got to do it safely.
Absolutely. Safety first. We have a comment from Ms. Lopez class, which says that many of my students can relate to the differences in the color of skin in a family. Beautiful. Another question from Ms. Weatherford is, how long you've been working for the police department?
I have been working for the police department. This year will be 19 years.
So wow. I'm going to jump a little bit because I can see all the way down. So I'm skipping to because I want to get into a couple of these because I think they're important questions. So a student in Ms. Maivich's class asked, do you have an African-American role model or role models that you look up to in your life, Ms. Jones?
I absolutely do. Yes, I do. So one of my biggest role model is a retired teacher from West Contra Costa Unified School District. She retired. She worked at Ford Elementary School. She worked for the school district for 30 years, and she is my second mom, and she has inspired me. She lives here in the community. She's a good, big advocate, and she's African American. And again, she was a teacher and an educator. With masters, got her bachelor's, and she got her master's. Very educated, very inspiring, and so she is my role model. I very much look up to her.
Thank you. I'm also going to skip down to this next one, and Ms. Jones, this one kind of puts you on the spot just a little bit. So just answer it to your level of comfort.
Oh, it's no problem. No, I understand. No problem.
Okay, so Ms. Forrest said several of her students expressed that they have experienced racism, and they want to know if you have also experienced racism. If so, they would like to know how you handled it.
I have experienced racism. I still experience racism. And racism is not just about the color of your skin. It could be your sexuality. It could be your preference, your gender, any of that. And so I've experienced it all. But I never let it hinder me because I've always remembered the way I was raised. Again, I come from a biracial family. I'm not ashamed to say my mother is Asian. She's Filipino, and both of my brother's wives are white. So the majority of my nieces and nephews are Black and white. And so we had to teach them because they had to feel like they felt racism from both sides. White people didn't like them. Black people didn't like them. Nobody liked them. But they had to learn in their skin and who they were, which is why it is so important that we're teaching this to you guys now. Racism is still there. It's probably going to be there. We're just paving the way for you guys because you guys are our future. So if you're experiencing it, don't be afraid to speak up and express how you feel. Let somebody know how you feel if someone is treating you different because of the color of your skin. I pray that we have people, educators, teachers, police officers, people who help you to get where you are in life, that support you and listen to you and hear you and believe you when you say you've been mistreated by the color of your skin.
So Miss Weatherford has her hand raised. So Miss Weatherford, I'm guessing you want to speak. Are you ready?
Sorry, I did not mean to raise my hand, but I put questions in the chat.
Okay, I can see them. So I'm gonna paraphrase a question. So the students are asking if you like your job, and you obviously have told us that you have. But one of the questions in here was how you feel. So can you help the students a little bit with how I can feel how passionately you feel about your work and serving students? How do you think your race and your experiences influence how you do your job every day?
That's a good question. Sometimes it can be an emotional, because there's been times when I've been sad because I've been mistreated at work, because people in the community mistreat me. They mistreat me for two reasons. They mistreat me, actually three, which are some of the main ones. Because I wear a uniform, I am not a sworn officer, but I still represent law enforcement. So people don't respect that, because they feel like, well, you're African American, you're a person with brown skin. Why don't you be there for us? Because the police are bad people. So I get that part of it. And then I get the part where I'm trying to do my job and people don't like that because of the color of my skin. They use, I call it the race card, and they like to flip and throw that out there. So it's not always easy. Some days I go home and I'm thankful, and I have to be thankful. But at the same time, I have to have my points where I too have to feel what is going on in the community, because it's a real thing. And the thing about me is I'm not ashamed to say it here at work, that everyone, even at work, doesn't treat people well. You other adults may experience the same thing. Some of the children that are listening today, your parents may be experiencing it. And the reality of it is, we're doing what needs to happen right now by all of us. If you can see us adults, see all the adults here, see all the different shades of our skin, we're doing this to promote you guys, to lift you guys. We're trying to learn more. When you know better, you can do better. The biggest thing anyone can do, if you don't know about the color of someone's skin or how it makes you feel at the end of the day, pick up a book and read it and learn about it. Learn about somebody else's culture, not just about, they like to, say we're brown or we're black. We're not black. My shirt is black. My skin is not black. Your skin is, some people's skin, they say you're white. Your skin is not white, but they that's how they have put us in a category. None of that matters. At the end of the day, we are all humans. We are all humans. Always remember that.
Ms. Jones, thank you so much for being so open and for answering those tough, some of those hard to talk about things and sharing your personal experiences. I know the kids love that. So I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit, and this will be the last question. They are really, really curious about your children, and they want to know their names and ages. So if you could share just a little bit about your family, because they really want to connect with your children.
Okay, so I have a son who went to heaven. He would be 32 years old in April. His name is Kendall. I have a daughter that is 24, and her name is Kalia. And my youngest child, she just turned 16 last week, and her name is Keena. And my name is Katrina, and my husband is Kevin. And all of our names start with a K, and that's just how it worked out for us. And all of my kids are 7.5 years apart, and it wasn't planned like that.
Wow.
Wow, that's amazing.
And they all have a number 8 in their birthday. That's my story, and that's me.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. I know that all the classes, I know we can't see you, but can you all do the thank you and do the jazz hands wave? Because I don't know, that just reminds me of her attitude. For Ms. Jones.
It's always bubbly.
Ms. Jones, thank you so very much for spending time with us. Our 3rd and 4th graders learned a lot from you. And 3rd and 4th graders, take a look at your skin. know that whatever color it is beautiful. I tell everybody, this world would be so boring if we all looked the same.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am so happy to see that, and no one color is better than another color. We're all jealous of somebody else's color. Trust me. But love yourself the way you are, because you're perfect just that way.
Yes, you are. Yes, you guys are.
All right. Thank you. And thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
You're
teachers.
welcome.
Thank you,
Thank
students, for
you.
joining us.
Thank you so much.
There's a project that's tied to the read-in. So students, if you have the opportunity to pick up supplies from Dover Elementary School, there are boxes right outside the door. Feel free to pick up a